My entitled family kicked me out of the house, but now they want to steal my house for my brother. Imagine this. You're 18 years old, standing on the front porch of the house you grew up in. It's the only home you've ever known, the place where every childhood memory lives. But today, the locks have been changed, your bags are packed, and your family is inside, celebrating, laughing, and moving on without you. Your parents tell you it's for the best, that you'll thank them one day. They hand you a few $100s and say, it's time for you to go. Fast forward a decade. You've struggled, fought, and sacrificed everything to rebuild your life. You finally own your own home, your sanctuary, a place where you've found peace. Then one day the phone rings. It's your family. They're not calling to apologize. They're not calling to reconnect. They want your house, not just a visit or a favor. They want you to give it all to your brother because, in their words, he deserves it more than you ever could. What would you do? How do you stand up to the very people who betrayed you in the first place? This is Katerina Alston's story, a story of betrayal, resilience, and the fight to protect everything she's built. And what happens next will leave you questioning everything you think you know about family. Katerina's story isn't just about family betrayal. It's about what happens when the people you trust most decide you're expendable. Her journey takes us from a childhood overshadowed by favoritism to a confrontation that would test every ounce of her strength. Along the way, we'll uncover the dynamics that led to her expulsion, the hardships she endured, and the shocking lengths her family went to in order to claim what wasn't theirs. By the end, you'll see why standing up for yourself isn't just important. It's essential. Before we dive deeper into the story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more true family stories. Katerina Alston was born in the small town of Riedridge, a place where everyone knew each other's business. Her father, Hendrik, ran the family hardware store, a business passed down for 3 generations. Her mother, Clara, was the unofficial town organizer, hosting bake sales and holiday fairs. To outsiders, the Alstons seemed like a model family, but Katerina knew better. From the moment her younger brother Theo was born, the household dynamics shifted. Theo was the golden child, adored by their parents and indulged at every turn. As a toddler, he was showered with toys and attention, while Katerina was left to manage chores and look after him. By the time she was 10, Katerina was doing most of the housework while Theo enjoyed his mother's constant praise. Her parents justified this favoritism in subtle ways. Theo needs more attention because he's the baby, or Katerina, you're so responsible. You can handle it. But as the years passed, these excuses turned into expectations. By the time Katerina was a teenager, she was essentially running the household. Her achievements at school went unnoticed. When she won a regional science competition, her parents barely acknowledged it. When Theo received a participation ribbon at his school sports day, the entire family went out to celebrate. The disparity became even more glaring when Katerina turned 16. She wanted to attend a summer art program, a rare opportunity for someone from their small town. Despite her excitement, her parents refused to pay for it, claiming the family couldn't afford it. A week later, they bought Theo a new gaming console. By the time Katerina turned 18, her relationship with her parents was strained. She had planned to move out after finishing school, but she wasn't prepared for what happened next. On her birthday, her parents called her into the living room. They sat her down, their faces unreadable. Katerina, Clara began, her tone unervingly calm, we've decided it's time for you to move out. Theo needs more space, and it's only fair that he has a chance to grow up without being cramped. Katerina stared at them, stunned. She hadn't even graduated yet. Where was she supposed to go? They handed her an envelope with a few $100s and told her she had 2 weeks to pack her things. Katerina packed her belongings in silence. She spent her last night in the house staring at the ceiling, wondering what she had done to deserve this. The next morning, she walked out the door, her suitcases in hand, with nowhere to go. Katerina's first stop was her Aunt Marla's house. Marla, her mother's sister, lived in a modest home 3 towns over. While Marla welcomed her in, it was clear she couldn't stay for long. Marla's husband was ill, and the family was already stretched thin. Within weeks, Katerina found a job at a local diner. The work was grueling, long hours on her feet, dealing with impatient customers, but she was grateful for the paycheck. She rented a small room above the diner and began saving every penny she could. Life was far from easy. Katerina often went without meals to save money. On nights when the loneliness felt unbearable, she would write in her journal, pouring out her frustrations and fears. She wrote about the family dinner she missed, the laughter she once shared with her parents, and the aching void their betrayal had left in her heart. But Katerina was determined. Over the next few years, she worked her way up, taking night classes to become a certified accountant. By the time she was 28, she had secured a stable job at a respected firm. She had saved enough money to buy her first home, a modest but charming bungalow on the outskirts of town. For the first time in her life, Katerina felt truly free. She had a place to call her own, a life she had built with her own two hands. She thought she had left the pain of her past behind. She was wrong. 2 months after moving into her new home, Katerina received a phone call from her mother. Clara's voice was warm, almost too warm. She said the family wanted to visit and see how Katerina was doing. Despite her reservations, Katerina agreed. When they arrived, it was clear something was off. Clara and Hendrik were overly complimentary about the house, pointing out how perfect it would be for a young family. Theo, now in his late 20s, said little but seemed to study every corner of the home. After an awkward lunch, Clara finally revealed the real reason for their visit. Theo's getting married, she announced, smiling. He and his fiancée need a place to start their life. We thought this house would be perfect for them. Katerina felt the air leave the room. She had worked tirelessly for this home, sacrificing everything to achieve independence. And now her family was asking her to hand it over to Theo. When Katerina refused, the atmosphere turned hostile. Hendrik accused her of being selfish, while Clara insisted it was her duty as the older sibling to help Theo. Theo himself remained silent, his entitlement evident in his smug expression. The confrontation escalated, with her parents threatening to cut ties completely if she didn't comply. But for the first time, Katerina stood her ground. Katerina sought legal advice, ensuring her ownership of the house was airtight. Despite the emotional toll, she refused to back down. Her parents launched a smear campaign, spreading rumors about her in their community. But Katerina didn't waver. She confronted them one last time, making it clear that she would no longer be manipulated. In the end, her family backed off. Katerina's resilience had won. She learned that sometimes protecting your peace means walking away from people who refuse to respect your boundaries. Have you ever faced a similar situation where family crossed the line? Share your story in the comments. Would you have handled this differently? Let us know. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe for more real-life stories of courage and resilience. What would you have done in Katerina's shoes? Share your thoughts below. We'd love to hear from you.